I thought I would start off today by telling you a little bit about an experience that I had with a life that was out of balance for a while. And we're going to go back to my early 30s, and we're not going to tell you how old I am now, but it was a while ago, okay? And so when I was in my early 30s, I was on the road quite a bit. I was experiencing, life at full throttle, as most of us do, and I was traveling quite a bit. Coming home, sometimes, on the road 3 and 4 nights out of every week, and 4 weeks out of every month, and so by the end of the year, you can imagine how many miles I'd put on my car or airline tickets. And I wasn't, as a lot of people do, taking really good care of myself while I was on the road. I was doing the stuff that was convenient. I was eating the fast food. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't getting enough sleep, even when I did try to sleep. I was pushing my body beyond the limits of normal performance and what was healthy for me. And I came home. I was in my home alone one afternoon, and I came home, and as I did so often, unpacking my suitcase only to pack again, I realized that I was starting to feel chest pain. Massive, crushing chest pain to me. And I was alone, so of course I was terrified, and I called the ambulance, and the ambulance came and took me to the hospital, and they ran every barrage of tests, and you know about how long that can take if you're in the emergency room and you were an unexpected guest. And finally they came back, and the good news was that they told me, no, you're not having a heart attack. Well, I was female in my early 30s, so they kind of looked at me anyway like I had a third eye right here thinking about heart attack. But it was good news. The bad news, though, was that they really couldn't tell me or define what I was experiencing. A little bit later, I was blessed to work with a physician who said, you know what you felt was absolutely real. No surprise to me, because I'm the one that felt it, right? And so that person said, let's talk about the idea of an anxiety attack or a panic attack. How many of you have ever had a really bad, okay, so we're all supporting one another in that, right? All right, but that person, as knowledgeable as he was, wanted to treat what to do when it began to happen and how to control it when it began to happen. But I walked away with a much bigger message. Okay? You can handle things as they're happening, or you can try to be proactive and put things in place to keep stuff like that from happening. And I began to realize that somehow I had to define a better way of life for myself. And I had to think about what balance in my life was actually going to mean. What did that look like for me as an individual? How would I define that? And I realized that once I defined that, I was going to have to actually start making choices every day that went back to the things that I said I needed to have a well-balanced life. My choices were going to have to reflect what my priorities were. I was going to have to change my lifestyle in several different ways. And you see, I've come to believe over the years that joy and fullness and happiness that we want to experience, that we're all out there trying to get, is experienced more when we live our lives in alignment with what we say our value systems are.